So, after the neon gloom of Tron Ares, I needed something with a pulse. Something that didn't feel like it was trying to be cool in a vacuum. And then the Mortal Kombat II trailer dropped. And I'll be honest, it's kind of exactly what I wanted. This time, the story's following Johnny Cage, not Scorpion, not Sub-Zero, even though Scorpion was in the trailer, not the usual suspects who've been carrying the franchise since the arcade cabinets were still sticky with soda. Johnny Cage is front and center, and that's a choice. A good one, by the way. Because Johnny Cage isn't just a character, he's a caricature. A walking, roundhouse-kicking tribute to the 1990s action stars. Think Jean-Claude Van Damme, think Steven Seagal, back when Steven Seagal actually made good movies, not the shit he makes now. Think the kind of guy who'd wear sunglasses indoors and call it charisma. That makes this direction so interesting. It's not just a video game adaptation anymore. It's a movie. A traditional action flick with genre DNA and a wink to the audience. And Warner Brothers knew what they were doing. They cast Karl Urban, a certified geek icon. Let's walk through his resume. Dr. McCoy, aka Bones, in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek reboot movies, bringing dry wit and fan-favorite energy to one of sci-fi's most enduring legacies. Then Judge Dredd in 2012, a film that didn't just rehabilitate the character, it gave us one of the tightest, grittiest comic adaptations of that decade. And now he's Butcher in The Boys, one of Amazon Prime's sharpest, wildest genre hits. Urban brings fan credibility and genre versatility. Casting him as Johnny Cage doesn't just bring the swagger, it galvanizes the fan base. It's strategic, not just inspired. This ties directly into the broader nostalgia wave we're swimming through. The 90s aren't just back, they're being remixed and reissued with full knowledge of how absurd they were. From fashion to film, it's all making a comeback. And Mortal Kombat 2 is embracing that cultural pulse. With Urban leading the charge, the tone feels confident. He's got the physicality, the smirk, and the kind of presence that makes Johnny Cage work beyond parody. He's homage with teeth, and that's a smart pivot from the 2021 Mortal Kombat, which had plenty of potential but stumbled on finding its voice. Let's talk about that film. Critics weren't kind, but audiences, they showed up. It wasn't trying to be high art, it was aiming for high impact, and it nailed that goal. Brutal fatalities, kinetic fights, and a pulpy tone that didn't pretend to be anything else. Rotten Tomatoes summed it up perfectly with this, quote, "Largely for fans of the source material, but far from fatally flawed. Mortal Kombat revives the franchise in appropriately violent fashion," end quote. That's the sweet spot, catering to the core audience while reigniting the fire. That's key because it also dropped during the day-and-date HBO Max rollout, so box office wasn't a fair measure of its success. It's like judging a pit match by ticket stubs. Completely irrelevant. What matters is that it revived interest. It brought Mortal Kombat back into the conversation. Mortal Kombat 2 is now building on that foundation with intention and style. That intention reminds me of a classic screenwriting rule. Ruth Rose, who helped write the original King Kong back in 1933, coined this gem, quote, "If you can't make it bigger, make it funnier," end quote. And that spirit is laced throughout this trailer. It doesn't look like it's trying to outdo its predecessor. It looks like it wants to entertain, to be memorable, to lean into spectacle and wit instead of sheer scale. Contrast that with Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which tried to embrace the franchise's absurdity but completely missed the mark. It went big but forgot to go smart. The PG-13 rating didn't help either. It defanged a franchise built on unapologetic violence and carnage. But let's not be too hard on that rating. In the 90s, PG-13 wasn't the death knell it feels like today. Look at Anaconda. That film was PG-13 and it still managed to scare, entertain, and grow a loyal fan base. So the problem with Annihilation wasn't the rating, it was the execution. It's even more apparent when you revisit the 1995 Mortal Kombat, which was essentially a spiritual remake of Enter the Dragon. It had the tournament format, the mystical setting, and that martial arts bravado that made it feel familiar and fresh. It knew its lane and stayed there confidently. Now, in 2025, Mortal Kombat 2 has an opportunity to evolve the franchise without betraying its roots. It can be nostalgic without being derivative, violent without being gratuitous, and funny without tipping into dumb. That balancing act is tough, but this trailer makes it look doable, which is exactly why it stands out. It's not just selling fights, it's selling a tone, a vibe, a cinematic language that suggests the filmmakers know what kind of movie they're making. And maybe more importantly, they know who they're making it for. So let's throw it to you. What are you hoping for in Mortal Kombat 2? Are you here for the lore, for blood, for Karl Urban throwing a punch while quoting Bloodsport? Jump down in the comments and tell me what's on your wish list. I want to hear what's getting you hyped, because for me, this trailer feels like a win. Not a flawless victory, but a confident one. A sign that this franchise is willing to grow, adapt, and yes, laugh a little along the way. Until next time, keep your sunglasses on, your fists up, and your expectations just high enough to be surprised. And if Karl Urban shows up with brass knuckles and a one-liner, you'll know they nailed it.